If you're watching this, never, and I mean never, enter a chat room called The Empty Room. That's where I lost my best friend. And when I say lost, I don't mean we grew apart, or he stopped replying to texts, or even that he ran away. I mean he disappeared, like he never existed in the first place. I know how that sounds. I wouldn't believe me either. A random guy on the internet telling you a ghost story about the dark web. It feels like cheap fear bait, right? But listen closely. There are things I wish I didn't know. Things I'll never be able to unsee. And if you keep watching, you'll know them too. That's your warning. Once you hear this, you can't go back. My best friend's name was Adam. He was the kind of guy who could find humor in anything. The type who laughed too loud in movie theaters and convinced you to do dumb things just because he swore it would be hilarious. If anyone was going to stumble into something they shouldn't, it was Adam. But I never thought it would end like this. You've heard the cliches. Don't go looking for what doesn't want to be found. Don't wander into corners of the web that normal people aren't supposed to see. Those warnings exist for a reason. I thought they were jokes. Adam thought they were challenges. And now he's gone. Maybe you're curious. Maybe you're thinking, I could handle it. I'd just check it out once, for fun. That's exactly what Adam thought too. But the thing about the empty room is, it doesn't let you leave the same person. And sometimes, it doesn't let you leave at all. I can still remember the last words Adam said to me. He leaned back in his chair, his face lit by the pale glow of his laptop screen, and he grinned. Dude, you wouldn't believe what I just found. That was the last time I saw him, alive. So yeah, laugh if you want. Think I'm making this up. But when you're done, ask yourself, why would I lie about something that still keeps me awake at night? This isn't one of those internet ghost stories meant to give you a cheap thrill. This is real. And I'm going to tell you everything. How we found the empty room, what happened inside, and why I can't shake the feeling that one day it's going to come for me too. But to understand how we got there, I need to take you back to the beginning. Back to before Adam disappeared, when things still felt normal. Before everything went wrong, life with Adam was normal. Or at least, as normal as two insomniac college kids glued to their screens could be. Most nights, you'd find us logged into Discord, voices crackling through cheap headsets, locked in endless gaming sessions. We weren't exactly party guys. Our idea of fun was trash-talking each other in Call of Duty and arguing about which horror movies actually deserved to be called scary. Adam always had this restless energy about him. Even in silence, you could feel him buzzing on the other end of the line. He hated routine. He hated boredom. He wanted something more, even if that something was dangerous. Dude, life's too short to just exist, he said once, after a long losing streak in Warzone. I want to see what's out there, you know? Like the stuff people don't talk about. I laughed. Yeah, sure. Next you'll be telling me you want to be one of those dark web treasure hunters. Good luck not ending up on some FBI watch list. Or a hit list, he shot back, and we both cracked up. That was Adam's thing. Jokes so dark they made you laugh and shiver at the same time. It was late-night conversations like that, spoken in half-jest, that built the foundation of what came next. See, Adam wasn't joking. Not really. While I was content to stick to Reddit horror threads and YouTube conspiracy rabbit holes, he wanted more. He wanted proof. One night, around 3 a.m., his voice dropped in that way it did when he was serious. "Hey, you ever heard of the hidden internet?" I groaned. Yeah, everyone has. It's where people buy drugs and get scammed by fake hitmen. Congrats, you've discovered Vice documentaries. No, he said quickly, leaning closer to his mic, like he was letting me in on a secret. I'm talking about something different. Not Silk Road, not the typical stuff. There are rooms, chat rooms, places normal browsers can't get to, places where the rules aren't the same. His words stuck with me, but I brushed it off. Sounds like a creepypasta setup, man. What's next? Bloody Mary shows up if you type her name 3 times? But Adam didn't laugh. He just muttered, "You'll see," and went quiet for the rest of the call. That was the first time he mentioned it. The place online where the rules weren't the same. Looking back, that should have been my red flag. But hindsight makes prophets of us all, doesn't it? At the time, it was just Adam being Adam. Reckless, curious, daring the world to push back. The truth is, I admired him for it. He had this fearless streak I never could replicate. If I hesitated, he dove in head first. If I warned him something was a bad idea, he grinned wider. That contrast defined us. Me, the cautious one with my seatbelt always buckled, and him, the daredevil hanging half his body out the window just to feel the wind. But that contrast, the very thing that made our friendship work, was the same thing that destroyed it. Because Adam didn't stop at jokes or theories. He started searching. He spent nights digging through shady forums, clicking links that made my antivirus scream in protest. He laughed it off, told me I was paranoid. And maybe I was. But paranoia keeps you alive. One night, his voice came through Discord, trembling with excitement. "Bro, I found something." I didn't like the way he said it. Too serious. Too eager. Like he'd been waiting for this moment all along. "What is it?" I asked, my stomach already sinking. His reply was almost a whisper. "The chat room. They call it the empty room." And that's where everything started to unravel. The night Adam showed me the empty room, the air in my dorm felt heavy, like the atmosphere itself was holding its breath. My desk lamp flickered once and steadied, but it was enough to put me on edge. Adam's voice crackled through Discord, carrying that dangerous mix of excitement and recklessness I'd learned to fear. "All right, dude, brace yourself," he said. "I'm about to blow your mind." My monitor's glow painted the room in cold blue light as I heard the frantic clicking of his keyboard. On the other end, a link popped up in our chat window, a string of nonsense letters and numbers ending in .onion. I groaned. "Seriously? A Tor link? You know how many horror stories start like this?" "That's the point," he replied, almost smug, Except this one's real, and you're about to see it. Against my better judgment, I launched the Tor browser. The page loaded with agonizing slowness, each second stretching longer than it should. When it finally appeared, I almost laughed. It was plain, just a black background with white text in the center. Welcome to the empty room. Rules: do not share, do not leave without permission, do not lie. That's it? I asked. Looks like a GeoCities page from 2001. Scroll down, Adam whispered. Below the rules was a chat window. No flashy interface, no emojis, just usernames and lines of text appearing in sterile white. At first, it was empty. Then, one by one, names began popping up. Watcher 77 has entered the room. Broken Keys has entered the room. Glassmouth has entered the room. The usernames alone unsettled me. There was something performative about them, but also intentional. Messages began flooding in. Watcher 77, you shouldn't be here. Broken Keys, 2 more tonight. 2 more to play. Glassmouth, who will leave first? I forced a laugh, though it sounded hollow even to me. It's just role players, Adam. Probably some weird ARG. He chuckled. Bro, it's just role play. But the longer I stared, the more uneasy I felt. Then why does it feel like they're talking about us? Almost on cue, a new message appeared. Pale hands. Hello, Adam. My blood ran cold. Adam froze. Wait, how do they know my name? Did you type it earlier? I asked, though I already knew he hadn't. No, I swear I didn't. His voice was sharp now, stripped of its playful edge. More lines appeared, faster. Pale hands. Adam brought a friend, quiet one, always cautious. Watcher 77. We like him better, he listens. I felt the bottom drop out of my stomach. They weren't just guessing. They knew. Dude, close it, I said, panic threading my words. Shut it down, right now. But Adam leaned in closer to his screen, his eyes reflecting the scrolling text. No, I want to see where this goes. He typed a message. Who are you? The response came instantly. Glassmouth. We are the ones who wait. The ones who stay when you leave. Broken Keys. We never leave. At first, it was almost funny, like some edgy improv group. But then another line appeared that made my skin crawl. Pale hands. We know what you did last winter, Adam. The bridge, the lighter, the secret. Adam's face drained of color. His chair creaked as he sat back, muttering, How the hell nobody knows about that? I frowned. What secret? He shook his head violently. Doesn't matter, just some dumb thing I did. But I never told anyone. Not even you. That was when I realized we weren't in control. This wasn't a game, wasn't some prank forum. Something, or someone, was digging into us. The chat kept going, relentless. Watcher 77. He hides things from you. Broken Keys. He lies to you. Glassmouth. You can't trust him. My heart hammered in my chest. The room around me felt darker, like the glow of my screen was the only thing keeping the shadows at bay. Adam, I said, voice trembling. Close it. Please. This isn't funny anymore. He laughed again, but it was forced, brittle. Relax, man. It's still just people messing around. You'll see. I can handle it. But I wasn't sure he could. His hands shook as he typed, challenging the chat, demanding answers. And every time he pressed enter, they responded instantly, like they were waiting for him. The final message that night was short, but it sealed everything. Pale hands. Adam, stay. Your friend should go. I yanked off my headset, my pulse racing, but the words burned into my mind. That was the beginning of Adam's obsession and the start of me realizing that once you step into the empty room, you don't ever really step back out. At first, it was subtle. A few nights where he stayed logged in longer than usual. A couple of missed Discord calls. Probably gaming, I told myself. But then, the gaps between us grew wider. One week, he was still cracking jokes about memes and trash-talking me in Valorant. The next, he was ghosting our group calls completely. When he did show up, his voice sounded different, tired, wired, like he hadn't slept in days. I'd hear his mic crackle open, faint muttering in the background, almost like he was talking to someone else in the room. But he lived alone. The real red flag was the notebook. He'd always doodled, random sketches in the margins of homework, stupid cartoon faces. But the last time I went over to his place, I noticed pages filled with the same looping symbol over and over again. A circle, incomplete, with jagged lines spiraling out like broken sun rays. Some pages had nothing but that mark repeated 50 times. Pressed so hard the pen nearly tore the paper. Dude, what the hell is this? I asked, flipping through it. He snatched the notebook back, his eyes flashing with something I'd never seen before. Not anger, not embarrassment. Something closer to fear that I'd seen too much. Don't touch that, he muttered, shoving it under a stack of clothes. Over the next week, things unraveled fast. He stopped coming to class. His texts went from short to non-existent. When I did manage to corner him, he looked wrecked, skin pale, eyes bloodshot, stubble, making him look 10 years older. But it wasn't just exhaustion, it was obsession. He kept talking about the chat room, always the chat room. They don't understand like we do, he said once, almost to himself. Who's they? I asked. The others, the ones inside. You wouldn't get it. You're not ready. That word, ready, echoed in my head long after. Ready for what? One night, I finally confronted him on Discord. Bro, you're losing it. You don't eat. You don't sleep. You're muttering in your damn sleep about empty chairs and second doors. What the hell is going on? His mic went silent for a moment. Then, his laugh crackled through my headset. Low, humorless. You still think this is a game? It is a game, or some freaky ARG. Whatever it is, it's screwing you up. You don't get it, he said, his tone suddenly sharp. There's a second layer. None of the others outside the room know it exists. They picked me, not you. That's insane! No, he whispered. It's clarity. For the first time in my life, things make sense. The rules are gone. The masks are off. You wouldn't last a second in there. His voice carried this reverence, like he wasn't just describing a website, but a sacred place. After that, he shut me out completely. Days passed without a word. When I went to his apartment, the blinds were always drawn. Sometimes I thought I saw shadows moving through the curtains, but when I knocked, there was never an answer. Then came the final message. It popped up on Discord at 3:17 a.m. A single line. They've opened the second door. I have to go. And then he was gone. His profile picture vanished, username wiped, like he'd never existed at all. I sat there staring at the empty friend list, my stomach sinking into a hollow pit. Part of me wanted to believe it was a prank, some elaborate stunt. But the look in his eyes that last time, the way he clutched that notebook, the way his voice shook when he spoke about being chosen, told me this wasn't a joke. Whatever the empty room was, it had swallowed him whole, and I was left staring at the glow of my monitor, realizing I might be next. I still remember the last night I saw him. His bedroom light bled faintly through the blinds, a sickly glow against the dark. I tapped on the glass with my knuckle, half expecting him to ignore me. Instead, he cracked the window open just wide enough to mutter, "Come in, you need to see this." Inside, his room looked like a command center. The curtains were drawn tight, his desk buried beneath empty soda cans, notebooks full of strange symbols, and that humming computer monitor. The glow painted his face a ghostly blue. He didn't look like the same friend I'd known, the one who used to joke, blast music, and argue about dumb movies. His eyes were wide, bloodshot, jittery, as if he hadn't blinked in hours. He was typing furiously. Lines of text shot up the chat room screen faster than I could read. I leaned over his shoulder, catching fragments. "You're close. Almost there. The second layer opens when..." Then the words blurred. The entire chat window flickered, pixelated, as if the screen itself couldn't handle what was being written. "Who are you talking to?" I asked. He didn't look at me. His lips moved silently, as though repeating what he read. Then finally, he whispered, "They're about to let me in." Something about the way he said "they" knotted my stomach. "I thought you said I could join too." He paused, mid-keystroke. His fingers hovered above the keys, twitching like they weren't his. For the first time all night, he turned to look at me. His face was pale, slick with sweat. His eyes, dull and bottomless, didn't look like his own. "You're not ready," he said flatly. "They don't want you." I wanted to laugh it off, to tell him he sounded insane, but the words caught in my throat. The room was too quiet. The air itself seemed charged, buzzing faintly, as if some unseen frequency pulsed around us. Then came the sound, the sharp ding of a logout. On his monitor, the chat room window blinked out, just gone. No archive, no record. The screen went black, reflecting our faces. His expression twisted in confusion. Then panic. He clicked furiously, reopened the browser, typed in the address, but the page refused to load. "This site can't be reached." "No," he muttered, shaking his head. His hands slapped the keyboard. No, 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 they promised. And then, silence. He slumped back in his chair. His breathing slowed. He closed his eyes just for a moment. I thought maybe he'd finally collapsed into sleep. But when I nudged him, his head snapped upright again, pupils blown wide, lips twitching as though words were forming. That was the last time I saw him. The next morning, his desk chair was empty. His bed was neatly made. No sign of him anywhere. I called his phone, straight to voicemail. I walked to his house after school. The curtains were still drawn, lights off. His parents answered the door, and for a second, relief hit me. But their faces, too calm, too controlled, froze me in place. "He's not here," his mother said quickly, blocking the doorway with her body. "Where is he?" I asked. "He went away. A program, out of town." Her eyes flickered, like she hadn't rehearsed the lie enough times. "When's he coming back?" She hesitated. Then she smiled, a tight, unnatural smile. "Don't worry about him." And she shut the door. I kept trying. For days. Calls, texts, knocking at their door. Nothing. My friend had vanished like he'd been erased. Finally, one night, I climbed through his window again. The house was silent, unnervingly so, like a stage after the actors have left. No TV hum, no clatter of dishes, nothing, just silence